Okay, so being told the figure below shows the three displacement vectors A, B, and C. These vectors are arranged in tail to head fashion. When added together, they give the resultant vector R, which lies along the x-axis. What is the magnitude of the vector C? So we've been told when they are added, they're going to give us R, and we are able to see R is down along the x-axis there. Now I want to find the vector C. So the thing is for us to understand basically the many thing when we're talking about vectors. Okay, so if you just know those big concepts, it doesn't matter how much they get to rephrase the question, you get it. All right, so I'm going to have a vector here. I'm going to have its x component and also its y component. So starting with the vector A. So you can see that the vector A is at an angle, right? It is at an angle there, at an angle of 60 degrees, meaning that the x component for A is going to be the magnitude, which is 20 cos the angle which is 60. We know that for the x component, we always use cos. And cos 60 is a half. So 20 times half, that is going to be giving us a 10 as the x component, and this is in meters. Okay, the y component is going to be 20 sine of 60. Please, if you've got a calculator, do well to be helping us with the punching. 20 sine 60. Anyone who has found that?
17.32.
Okay, 17.32. So that is going to be the y component. If you go to vector B, now look at the direction for vector B. It goes in the same direction as the positive x-axis, meaning that the angle between this vector B and the x-axis is 0 when they are going in the same direction. But if the vector B was going in this direction, you know that the positive x-axis goes in this direction, meaning that the angle between them would have been 180. So to find the x component, we're just going to say 10 cos 0. Okay, we know cos 0 is a 1, so this is going to just give us a 10. And then the y component is going to be 10 sin 0, and we know sin 0 is 0, so that is going to be 0. It doesn't have any y component. That's why you are able to see it is parallel to the x-axis. It doesn't have any y component. And then the vector C is what we don't know. So we are looking for its x component and also its y component. Okay, if you look at the resultant now, the resultant is along the x-axis, meaning that also the angle for it in respect to the x-axis is 0. Meaning that the x component is just going to be the same 35 given, the y component is a 0. So this is the first thing that is supposed to be done. So if a person cannot do this, it means they cannot answer this question. I don't know if it is clear with the getting of the components, because this is what we need to get to understand. Yes, there's a question. Is there someone with a question? Yes, Limbo. Your voice isn't clear. I don't know if you're using headsets or something.
I'm asking if you may repeat starting from when you were resolving vector B. My network was breaking.
Okay, so we are saying for vector B, since it is parallel to the x-axis, meaning that this component is the x component. It doesn't have any y component. That's why the y component is 0. Same with the resultant. It's also parallel to the x component, so that would be 35. The y component is going to be 0. So I was saying, if the vectors were going in this direction, it means that their x components would have been negative, because we know the positive x-axis goes like this, but if the vector is going in the other direction, meaning that the angle between them is 180, and cos 180 is a negative 1. So that is why these angles would have been, these sides would have been negative if the vectors were going in the opposite direction. I don't know if that's okay.
Yes.
All right, so we've been told that when these vectors are added together, they give the resultant. So we're going to add x components 10 for A, B is also 10 plus x for C. This should give us the 35, meaning that x is going to be 35 minus 20, which is a 15. Okay, and then if we go to the y component, we have got 17.32 plus 0 plus y. This should give us 0, meaning that y is going to be negative 17.32. Okay, that is going to be the y component. And this makes sense. Like this vector is going down. Okay, it's going down. It is going in the direction of the what? The negative y axis. That's why the y value is negative. The x value is positive. So now that we have found this, we need to find the magnitude. The magnitude of these vectors, this is vector c, remember, is going to be the square root x component we've been given, that is a negative 15, which I can just say 15. Like whether negative or positive squared, it will always be positive. But that's not even a negative 15, but positive 15, unless the 17.32 is the one which is negative. Please, can someone punch this on the calculator? We see what we're going to get as the magnitude for C. So that will give us 22.9 meters. That is the magnitude. Okay. And then the direction, to find the direction, theta is going to be tan inverse of the x component, which is, oh, of course, we start with the y component. Okay, negative 17.32 divided by 15. So let's see what we get as theta. Tan inverse of negative 17.32 divided by, that is a 15. What are we getting? Okay, so tan inverse of negative 17.32 divided by 15, that is giving me negative 49.1. So that's the angle it has given me. Are we okay? So what does this mean? Why are we finding this negative 49? So remember, we always need to find the angle relative from the positive x-axis. If you look at these components, the x component is positive, but the y component is negative, meaning that the vector is in the third quadrant. So basically, the angle that you have found is this one. The angle that you find is always related to the x-axis whenever you are punching on the calculator the 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 tan inverse. So meaning that if we extend like this, the angle that you have found is this one. The angle that you want to find is this angle like this. So all we are going to do is to the angle that you have found, add 360. That is going to give you the angle relative from the positive x-axis in the anti-clockwise direction. So therefore that is 310. That is the direction for C. So C is 22.9 meters and 310.9 degrees in direction. So that is C. Are we okay? Do you have any question? Tabo, is it okay?